What's up guys, my name is Lordsevein and welcome to the first episode of my How-To Legend of Grimrock tutorial series. In this episode I'm going to be covering the very basics of the game, including the UI, movement, and keybindings, as well as character creation and starting a new game. I'm guessing that if you're watching this video, you're interested in the Legend of Grimrock. True to the 4-man dungeon crawler roots, Almost Human has created a game that feels so much like the old grid-based games from the 90s, but with beautiful textures and graphics of a game from 2012. I don't know about you, but I grew up playing games like Dungeon Master, and this game is right up my alley. That said, there's a bit of a learning curve, and I hope I can help you out with that. The basic premise of the game is that a party of 4 characters you control are trapped in a dungeon. You must make your way through the monsters, traps, and puzzles to get down the mountain of Grimrock to reach the outside. The game's UI is both minimal and fairly simple in order to really drive home the immersion. Once you have control of your characters, you'll notice you have 4 boxes in the lower right corner of the screen. You can change how your party is arranged by clicking and dragging a character's portrait to a new position. To the right of each portrait, you'll see a red bar and a blue bar. The red bar represents that character's hit points. If this reaches 0, the character will die. However, there are ways to revive dead characters as you progress throughout the game. The blue bar represents the character's energy. Doing things like attacking with weapons and casting spells will cause this bar to go down. If the bar reaches 0, then your character will be limited in melee and ranged combat and won't be able to cast spells. Below these bars, you'll see a pair of hands. These act as a quick way to swap weapons and defensive items without having to open your character sheet every time. Simply drag and drop an item into one of those slots, and the character will begin wielding it in that hand. Clicking on any of the portraits will take you into the character screen. This screen is made up of 3 tabs: the inventory, statistics, and skills. The inventory tab is pretty straightforward. When you mouse over items, a tooltip will appear and give you some basic information about the item. You can click and drag items to the character's ragdoll to equip them, to the portrait to eat food and potions, and generally manage items that you pick up in the game. If you want to move items to another character's inventory, simply drag it to their portrait. The statistics tab shows all the character's stats, experience, and status effects. This will become an important tool for trying to figure out what the heck is going on when you equip different weapons or you have different status elements. Finally, the Skills tab will show your character's skill level in various weapons, armors, and abilities. The skill system in this game is pretty simple. You receive skill points when you level up, and certain items require a specific skill to wield. Different skills are going to be useful to melee fighters than spell wielders or rogues, but it's up to you to decide how to allocate your skill points and craft a character that matches your playstyle. One of the things that's going to take a bit of getting used to in the game is the movement. Like its predecessors, Legend of Grimrock's movement is grid-based, even if all the combat and dungeon interaction is in real time. This means your entire party moves as one unit, one square at a time. You can use your W, S, A, and D keys to move your characters forward, backward, left, and right, while the Q and E keys will turn your party left and right respectively. I suggest taking some time early in the game to get used to these kinds of movements, as there's going to be plenty of situations where you'll need to maneuver strategically. You'll find yourself dying quite a lot if you're not really familiar with how this movement feels. It's also really important to know how to manipulate the camera view. You can do so by simply left-clicking on the mouse and dragging it. A game like Grimrock will force you to look for tiny little details like hidden switches and out-of-place objects in order to solve puzzles and disarm traps. Make sure to look around often. There are several other keybindings you should be aware of as well. R will command your party to rest, restoring needed health and energy. Just be careful not to do it around any monsters, as you'll be attacked in your sleep. Tab will bring up your map. You guys don't know how lucky you are. By default, Grimrock has an automap function. Back in my day, you had to do all this by hand. Numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4 will bring up character sheets for members of your party. Of course, all of these keybindings can be changed if you feel the need to do so. Despite having so many customization options for your party, starting a new game in Legend of Grimrock is surprisingly simple. All you need to do is select New Game from the title menu. From here you can set several options for your game. At the time of this video, the only available option in the dungeon category is Grimrock. However, the developers have hinted at both expansions and user-created content. This option will allow you to select from any of these installed expansions or mods. Difficulty will scale monster damage, speed, and aggressiveness. If this is your first time playing a game like this, I would avoid setting this to anything other than normal or easy, at least until you get used to the game. It can get brutally hard in some places. Create characters will allow you to fully customize your party before setting out. If you leave this blank, then you'll get a pre-generated and balanced party. Again, if this is your first time, I would leave this unchecked, as creating a new party can be a daunting task if you don't know what you're doing. Better play it safe and go with the default at first. I'll cover advanced character creation in another video. Old School mode turns off the auto map function. This was put in to please old people like me who want to bust out their pencils and graph paper to map the dungeon themselves. I would leave this unchecked unless you want to spend a lot of time drawing your own maps. After you set these options, hit apply and get started. And that should about do it for this episode. My plan is to have a few more of these covering some more of the basics like Dungeoneering 101, combat, and magic systems in the next few days. In the meantime, if this video helped you out, I'd appreciate it if you gave it a thumb, left me a comment, and subscribed for future content. Also, be sure to check out my other Legend of Grimrock videos on my channel. Good luck and thanks for watching.